being an entrepreneur is not always easy. In fact, if you are not meant for it, don't do it. Keep collecting your regular paycheck. But if you have decided that you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, then this video is for you. I'm going to share with you the transformative power of the 3 Ds of success. Now, these qualities, if you embody them, if you practice them, if you are very intentional about cultivating them and incorporating them into your leadership as a founder, then I believe that it will take your business from ordinary to extraordinary. I mean, it certainly did for me. So the 3 Ds of success, they are discernment, diligence, and discipline. That's discernment, diligence, and discipline. So let's talk about discernment. Now, discernment is really your ability to hear from God, your ability to understand and intuitively know what's next, to intuitively know whether somebody is a good fit for you, whether an opportunity is a good fit for you, whether or not you are going to make the right decisions. Now, discernment has helped me to pick the right team. It's helped me to recognize the right opportunities as well as recognize the wrong opportunity. And let's just pause there. Y'all, when you are a small business owner, right, you can't afford to make a lot of unnecessary mistakes. Now, listen, granted, I believe in failing forward. I believe in making mistakes early so that you can learn and grow from them. Some mistakes are organic, but some mistakes are also avoidable. And discernment, being really in tune with that voice inside of you, can help you avoid pitfalls. It can help you avoid unnecessary mistakes, right? And it can also help you to recognize the right opportunities when they come. The other thing that discernment is good for, it can help you make the right decisions. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you heard me talk about core values and how important they are in terms of guiding your decisions. Well, so is discernment. Now, a couple of years ago, and I've been in business for going on 15 years, right? So a couple of years ago, I had a client that was a government contract. They are an agency that is semi-government, right? Not quite as formal as a municipality, but they are really still funded by taxpayer dollars. Well, they put out an RFP. I responded to the RFP, and in the response, because they were a brand new client, we priced the job at $5,000 a month, and it was a 1-year contract. The deliverables were really clear, and I am so happy and grateful that I prayed about that contract, and I was able to get guidance and discernment about exactly what should be included, what shouldn't be included in the RFP, how to price it. So having that kind of spiritual insight and, of course, human intelligence and strategy can be very useful when you're bidding on contracts, right? Anyways, we bid on the job, we got the work. And as we started to perform the task, we realized that the cost of doing the work was twice as much as we bid. So what can you do? You already bid the job, right? And you already have the contract. So you have to perform, and you have to perform well. And of course we did that. Me and the entire team performed well. Well, I had the insight that it would be wise to start tracking our hours. Now, this is in the early 2000s, long before software like Basecamp and Asana came on the market. And so just with a regular spreadsheet, me and the entire team started to log our hours. And we created really detailed reports. And then when we submitted our invoices, we included the reports so that there was a documented a documented track record that, listen, we bid this job out at $5,000 and we are putting in more than that. We are putting in $10,000 worth of work. So we end up doing that, lost money on the first year, had the opportunity to renew the contract. And when we submitted our renewal bid, guess what? We bid it at $10,000. And we got the renewal because we were consistently showing that we were putting in $10,000 worth of work and being paid $5,000 a month by the agency. So in our renewal contract, we were able to renegotiate. Now, that would not have happened had I not had discernment to recognize the right opportunity, and if I had not had the discernment around decision making. So I can tell you that because of discernment, in that particular contract, I went from making $5,000 a month on that piece of business to $10,000 a month. So for me, discernment is a critical success factor in my business and in my leadership in public service. The second one is diligence. You guys, diligence is so important. Diligence really is, it exemplifies your commitment to your vision and your goals. Now, last week I did a video on the power of commitment, and we're gonna link that video in the chat. And we're gonna link that video in the description. And you'll see that there's 7 levels of commitment, right? So as a diligent entrepreneur, you have got to have a level 7 commitment to your vision, and you've got to have a level 7 commitment to your goals. Diligence is the engine that drives that commitment, right? And it requires for you to be focused. It requires for you to be consistent. And it requires for you to forget everything that's ever happened in the past, whether you have, all the other failures, all the other challenges, forget all of that and be laser focused on the mission at hand. Be laser focused on your commitment, right? So that's what diligence will do for you. Diligence will also make sure that you pay attention to details. The quality of your work matters. The quality of the product that you produce matters. Listen, nobody wants to have a reputation as a person who does not deliver. No one wants to have a reputation as a person with a product that does not keep the brand promise. So, a diligent entrepreneur, a diligent founder will make sure that excellence, that service excellence is a core value of your business. And diligence is the tool that drives that. Diligence also helps you to solve problems prayerfully. It'll help you to find solutions to obstacles. It will help you to navigate the uncertainties of entrepreneurship. Because listen, I'm telling you, if you're an entrepreneur, you are not going to be surprised about what I'm going to say next. Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster, right? Especially in the early days when you are really looking to get traction, especially in the early days when you're trying to get your first quarter worth of sales, when you're trying to meet your first quarter of sales goal, it can be an up and down thing, right? And so diligence can help you navigate those uncertain times. Diligence also helps you to build trust with your customers and your team. People know that you are able to get things done in excellence, right? And quite frankly, not everybody knows the art of execution. Not everyone knows the art of getting things done. And as a diligent founder with a diligent team, that's your commitment. You are committed to getting things done. You're committed to taking daily action, right? So think of what farmers do. Farmers, they have a plan. They know when to tilt the soil. They know when to plant the seeds. They know when to water and fertilize. They know when to harvest. It's the same thing as an entrepreneur. You've got to take massive daily actions, not only in your business, but on your business in order for it to thrive. You know, I'm currently doing a business mastery mastermind group. And one of the practices that we have in this group is that everyone on a Monday come up with what I call the Farmer's Five. That's 5 tasks that you and only you as the founder can do to move your business forward. It's not something that you can delegate. It's not something even that it's not even a task that's around like your regular to-do list in terms of customer order fulfillment, right? It's those 5 things that only you can do as an entrepreneur to move your goal forward, to grow your business, to scale your business, to build better systems, to build better structure so that you are laying a strong foundation. So every Monday, everybody put in the WhatsApp chat their Farmer's Five. And quite frankly, I do it too. So for me, my Farmer's Five is recording 5 videos, 5 short videos every week. My Farmer's Five is doing 1 episode of this show every week. My Farmer's Five is for me to make sure that I review the money, that I keep my eye on the bottom line. And quite frankly, as a founder, I need to know what's going in and what's going out of my accounts, right? So my Farmer's Five for this week also includes me doing interviews and having one-on-one with team members. I'm the only one can do those things, and I have to commit to getting them done diligently. So that's my recommendation for you. Pick your Farmer's Five, do it every week, find an accountability partner, and make sure that you get it done, okay? Diligence and discernment are 2 critical success factors. So now I'm going to go into the third. The third critical success factor, the 3 Ds of success, is discipline. Y'all look. Discipline. All right, child. This right here, this skill, the embodiment of discipline and self-control is going to set you up to win in life and in business. And when I talk about discipline, it really falls into 4 primary categories to start. In order for you to have a disciplined life, in order for you to have a disciplined life that bears the fruit that you want to see in your business and your relationships and your life in general, I strongly recommend that you cultivate discipline in these 4 areas. And as you cultivate discipline in these 4 areas, there are specific action items that I'm recommending you to focus on in each area. So, for spiritual discipline, I recommend that you spend daily quiet time with God. God is the CEO of your business. If he is a CEO of the business, then you got to spend time with him. You've got to know his ways. You've got to know what his instructions are. You know, as a COO of a business, you got to know what the CEO wants. You've got to know the vision. You've got to know the strategy. You've got to get step-by-step instructions so that you know what you need to do as the COO of the business. And the only way that you'll get that is by spending time. So spend quiet time with God daily. Next, cultivate the discipline of inviting the Holy Spirit into every single conversation. I can't tell you how important this is. I started with this practice about 2 years ago. And in the beginning, when I started to do it, I wasn't always consistent. But over time, I'm getting better and better. And I can tell you that when I do this practice, particularly in my public service arena, particularly when I'm about to go into a meeting to negotiate a contract, I just quietly take 3 breaths and just internally say, Holy Spirit, activate. I invite you to come into this room. I invite you to come into this conversation. Speak through me. Allow me to hear with ears of the Spirit. Allow me to see with eyes of the Spirit. Allow me to discern what is being said and what is not being said. And I can't tell you how much that practice, that discipline has helped me to avoid unnecessary mistakes. And how many times that has kept me calm in the middle of a negotiation. You know, sometimes people know what to say to get a rise out of you, to press your buttons. And if you are operating or negotiating from your emotions, then you already lost the negotiation. So for me, whenever I practice the discipline of inviting the Holy Spirit into every single conversation with me, I'm calm, I'm laser focused, and I'm able to really hone in and be fully present in that moment. Even when the conversation does not go in my favor, meaning that I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, in the end, it always turned out for my highest good. So don't sleep on that suggestion, all right? Cultivate the discipline of inviting the Holy Spirit into every single conversation. And then the other spiritual discipline that I'm cultivating is the discipline of regular prayer, worship, and fasting. So you see God and have him tell you what pattern he wants you to follow. For me, in my regular quiet time, I pray, I read the word, I fast. He has me on a monthly pattern of fasting. And then I also fast with my church. So spiritual discipline, I believe, is particularly important for kingdom-leaning entrepreneurs, for kingdom-building entrepreneurs. I believe that entrepreneurship is a part of, I believe that entrepreneurship is a ministry, right? Every time you're able to put forward a product that meets a need, and you do it in a way that builds people up. You do it in a way that builds God's kingdom. You do it in a way that allows you to hire people, that allows you to fund God's program. You can't lose. So cultivate the discipline of having a spiritual practice. The next disciplined life section is having physical discipline. I have to confess, physical discipline is the part that is the most challenging for me in this season. Being disciplined with my nutrition, choosing food and beverages that nurture my body, that give me the strength and the energy I need to lead. I mean, my schedule, especially on days that I'm doing public sector work, as well as my entrepreneurship work, as well as my coaching work, my days sometimes can go from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. And so choosing the right nutrition that fuels my body is really important. And this is actually one of the disciplines that I'm actively cultivating at this moment. Moving your body, getting out in nature, seeing a doctor and or therapist on a regular basis is also a part of cultivating physical discipline. So if you don't have a physical disciplined practice, I encourage you to pick one and get to it. The next one is financial discipline. Now, this is so important as an entrepreneur. I believe that you've got to steward well the money that God entrusts with you now. So if you are currently looking to scale to multiple six figures, or if you're like me and you're looking to scale beyond seven figures, then you got to steward what you have now. You've got to take care of the money right now in your business life and in your personal life, because the truth is, it's not your money. It's not your money, right? So you got to steward it well. And that means maximizing your earning. Look for opportunities in your business, maybe to launch a new product line, to launch a new service, to write a book, to position yourself as a person of interest, to position yourself as a thought leader in what you're doing. Invest in coaching, invest in training. Really do whatever you need to do in order to maximize your earning potential for you and your team. That's a financial discipline that will serve you really well. I believe that where you are is not where God intends for you to stay. And a lot of time, the difference between the level where you are now and the level where God is taking you requires actions from you. It requires you to cultivate the discipline. It requires you to set up the financial systems. It requires you to become good steward of the money and the resources that God is currently trusting you with, so that he knows that he can trust you with more. And part of that is tithe. It's not your money. Give him back 1/10 of whatever it is that you make. Now, for me, I tithe in my business, and I tithe with the stipend that I make from my public service work. So with my public service work, that salary is tied to a church, to my local church, and in my business, that 10% is tied to my foundation. And the foundation is then used to carry out the work that God has assigned me to do in the community. So I've used the foundation money to fund the Hibiscus Girls Leadership Academy, which provides scholarship, leadership training, and mentorship to girls in my city. I have used the financial money from the foundation to furnish an apartment for a single mom who just came out of the shelter and was now in her first apartment that was completely empty. I have used the funds from the foundation to help to pay for funerals of people, of children, unfortunately, who lost their life as a result of gun violence. I have used the money from the foundation to provide emergency assistance to family, to provide food assistance to family, to pay for field trips and educational opportunities for the girls in my leadership academy, right? So make sure that you have the discipline of tithing and giving, as well as saving and investing. And of course, pay your people, your vendors, and your creditors on time. Pay them on time. Because guess what? You want people to pay your invoice on time. How can you expect your vendors to pay your invoice on time when you're not paying your vendors on time? When you're not paying your contractors on time? How can you expect your vendors and your prospective clients to honor your pricing and to see and pay you your worth when you are always, or maybe sometimes, not valuing other people's worth and paying them what they're worth? part of practicing financial discipline is not only making sure that you are wise steward of God's money that he's entrusted you with, but also that you are setting up systems to manage that money well, to grow that money well, to grow your income so that you may tithe more. You know, for the first time this year, I am setting a tithing goal. I'm actually in the process. I haven't quite done it yet. I'm still, this is still work in progress for me. But I want to, instead of saying, you know, that my revenue goal is X amount of money, I want to start saying that my tithing goal is X amount of money, that my giving goal through the foundation is X amount of money. There are companies like Hobby Lobby, for example, that is a Christian-based company, and that's what their CEO does. He has tithing goals instead of revenue goals, and he has tithing goals and he has giving goals, and year over year, they have exceeded those goals. And so that's a practice that I am actively cultivating right now in my own business and in my own life. So cultivate the discipline of managing and stewarding your finances well. The fourth category of having a disciplined life is relational discipline. Listen, people over money every day, all the time. People over money. People over politics. People over money. And so it's important for you to put your family first. Well, God first, and then your family, all right? Put your family first. Invest quiet time. Invest time with your family. Invest time with your friends. Invest time nurturing your relationships, whether they're familial, communal, or professional. Nurture your relationships. Build relational equity. Is so critical. You know, as an entrepreneur, well, actually, let me give you another example. Part of my role as an elected official is for me to vote on who to give government contracts to, right? And one of the things that I say to the entrepreneurs who are currently enrolled in my Lauderhill Shines program, and shout out to Lauderhill Shines, cohort 12 is actually starting today as I record this video. But part of what I say to the entrepreneurs that are enrolled in Lauderhill Shines is build relationships now as a startup. Build relationships. Get to know your elected officials. Get to know the department heads. Get to know those community leaders. Build relationships with them. Because guess what? We can have a conversation now when there's not a bid out, when there's not a contract out to bid. But the minute an RFP hit the streets, you can't talk to me. Guess what? I don't want to talk to you, right? Because I need to be fair and impartial in my vote. So build relationships before you need them. Grow your network. Cultivate relationships. And as you do that, you're going to need discernment, right? You're going to need discernment to know which relationships are going to be fruitful and which relationships are not. And just make sure that it's a give and take, right? Nobody wants a taker. Nobody likes a taker. You got to add value to your relationships. Add values to your relationships. So once again, the disciplined life, spiritual discipline, physical discipline, financial discipline, and relational discipline. Grow that network, y'all. So the 3 Ds of success includes discernment, diligence, and discipline. Discernment, diligence, and discipline. These are the 3 things, 3 characteristics, 3 qualities that I can tell you has made a huge difference in my life as an entrepreneur. It's taken my business from ordinary to extraordinary. It's taken my leadership from ordinary to extraordinary. It's taken me as a woman from a person that was really trying to do things on my own to one that is more obedient, to one that is more, that's more obedient. And of course, when you're more obedient, then things come to you, right? And you're able to see the fruit of all of that. You're able to see the fruit of your character, the fruit of your diligence, your discipline, and of course, your discernment. So I encourage you to pick one of these areas and work on cultivating it. Come up with a 90-day action plan and get it done. Right now, we are working on the Prosperity Project, and the Prosperity Project really helps entrepreneurs, particularly faith-based women entrepreneurs and women leaders, to cultivate discipline that they need in order to create the kind of life that they love, to create the kind of business that they love. So we're going to put a link down in the chat. Join our email list. Join our Facebook group if you are a woman of faith who is leading in life and in business. Click on the link, join our Facebook group, and there I'll be sharing exclusive content. All right. And maybe I'll give you a chance to not only join our 7-day obedience challenge, but also get in on the Prosperity Project as well. So I pray that God expands your territory, that his will is done in all areas of your life and your business. I pray that through him, you are able to cultivate the diligence, discernment, and discipline that you need to live a life of purpose. Be well, everyone. Thank you for watching the Dunn Wisdom Show. Again, I'm Melissa P. Dunn, and I'll see you next time.